Hello friends, it's Monica, also known as Sleep After 60, and I'm coming to you on April 25th, 2017 for my 6-week checkup. I had VSG at University of Minnesota, Fairview Hospital in the Twin Cities with Dr. Daniel Leslie on March 14th, 2017. I had a gastric sleeve, VSG. So this is week 6, and my stats quickly are that today I weighed in at 179 pounds, which is a weight loss of 2.2 pounds. So from my weight since surgery, I've lost 19 pounds. My weight since beginning at the university with their bariatric team, I've lost 45 pounds. And I began that in November. So let's see my notes. So as I told you last week, I was having some issues with not having any any hunger or not figuring that out. That continues. I saw the bariatric team last Thursday. Everything's fine. A doctor was pretty encouraging, and so was the nutritionist. For some reason, last week, going at 5.5 weeks, I thought that I should be further along eating, not the weight loss. I'm totally okay with the weight loss, but for some reason, I thought that I needed to be further along because soft foods, I wasn't eating a lot of dense foods, and I hadn't had any vegetables or fruit yet. And they, pretty quickly let me know that I needed to go at my own pace, and that I'm doing really well with my fluid and my protein intake. So not to worry. And one of the things is that, I'm a detailed kind of person, and I'd like to have, tell me what the rules are so then I know which ones I can break. If truth be told, I'm not always a great, rule follower, but at least I wanted to sort of say, for somebody to say, yes, you have to have so many ounces, so you have to have so many cups. And actually, they kind of blew that out of the water by saying things like, this is something that you need to figure out, and half a cup may be too much for you, or half a cup may be not enough. And if we tell you 2 ounces or 4 ounces, that may not work either. To just kind of keep an open mind about the process, and to slowly try new things. So as I was saying last week, we had company that left yesterday, and tomorrow comes more company. So with that, comes going out or cooking, which my sister-in-law was lovely about. Just I think we went out one night. We went out to dinner to sort of celebrate, the wedding and all that. And I had French onion soup, and didn't eat a lot of it just because there was bread in it. You know how onion soup is done pretty much all restaurants kind of do it the same way. So the cheese and the onion soup and all that. So I ate the onions. Everything went fine. Didn't drink alcohol, and that was it. And then I came home and had a high protein pudding, because it has 30 grams, and I didn't feel that I had enough, and it was fine. So I also have had chicken breast a couple of times, and I also had salmon twice, and I cooked it with a dill, sour cream, yogurt, mayonnaise, sort of dill topping that I made myself. And actually, of all the meals that I had, the salmon twice was really the one that went down easiest. So I think I may just stick with that as a staple for now. And then I did shallots and onions onions and, those kinds of things that get nice and soft, and it was fine. It was lovely. Still no alcohol, but one of the things that I wanted to kind of talk about, just my experience, because I'm always sort of trying to figure out what the eating disorder lessons or eating disorder treatment lessons that I learned, and how I can incorporate it with what's going on now. What I'm noticing, and today I was telling my husband as we were running errands, and I was telling him that that I had a pain in my side, and for breakfast today I went back to what I usually ate for years. This is my go-to breakfast every day. Every day I had a cup of I used to do cottage cheese, but I changed to is it fasce, the Greek yogurt, the 0%, and I would do a cup, and then I would do a cup of crushed pineapple with some sweetener. I've been doing that for years, and when I talked to the nutritionist, she said, that'd be a great thing to go back to. Don't be afraid of fruit, because I was kind of afraid, and you're gonna have to figure out. So I did half a cup and a quarter of a cup of pineapple. It's crushed and some juice, and with some sweetener, and it's a little souffle cup. It's probably like one of those things that most of you probably have in your kitchen. A little bigger than a Pyrex, but still one of those white, ceramic kind of souffle things. And I ate it, and of course it tasted wonderful. Even though I wasn't craving it, but I was wanting to get back to something that I know. And what I was mentioning to my husband, 8 weeks now, maybe? No, it can't be 8 weeks yet. Next week it'll be 8 weeks. So what I was mentioning to him, because I said that my side hurt, so it's not really my gut, but it was kind of my side. And I was saying to him was, it's like a new computer. I have a new piece of machinery. And how when you have a new computer, and you go from from an Apple to Word or vice versa, and all of a sudden you don't know where to go to backspace, or you backspace too much, or you delete, or you don't know how to save well. And this is how my new stomach is working. That I don't know how to work it. It doesn't come with an owner's manual, and it feels like I don't know where the backspace is. And that the surgeon, one of the things that he kind of said was, he reiterated again. I guess if you reiterate, that's, you don't have to say again, right? But the whole idea of stop the minute you have like a pain, the minute you feel full. I still don't know what full feels like. I still get that feeling of a brick. Today was more pain, so I was able to kind of figure it out. But here's what I am sort of seeing as the underlying issue for me. It's about psychological hunger and psychological fullness, and what it looks like on a plate. So I've gone out of my way, even when we've had guests, of just taking a really small salad plate. Because if you put a little tiny bit of salmon in, we have kind of big dishes, that it looks like your leftover skin, something you left out over. So it looks better and it looks more appealing when it's in a small dish. But I think that I also made the cheese bake, that I've eaten some of that. But that looks so small, and I think that I'm still stuck on the psychological part of how much is it? Like it doesn't look, to my mind's eye, it doesn't look like enough. And I think that just takes training. I'm not having any issues with drinking and eating, all that other stuff that I had worked on is fine. What I haven't gotten down yet is this whole idea. So that's what I'm going to work on. So things are going okay. I wanted to go back to something I said last week because some charming person sent me a note asking me. I said about the stress, that I'm okay, that, stressors of aging, and this person, who I believe was a female, said something like, oh my God, are we all doomed to be stressed? There are issues that somebody who's 64, who's married to somebody who's 75, has with aging that probably if you're in your 20s you don't have, and if you're in your 30s and 40s don't have. All developmental stages, I think, have their own challenges, whether you're parenting, whether you have an empty nest, or whether you're thinking about babies, whether it's your first mortgage or you paid off your mortgage. They're all sort of life change units, as we used to do in the old days. We used to have this test that would test in the last year, how many things have changed, whether it be good things and bad things, and then we'd come up with a score of, and it was called life change units, and depending on the score, there were a lot of red flags about getting ill or things happening. So we all have life change units. So that's what I meant, and that continues to be, a challenge of just day-to-day non-eating disordered and non-eating disordered eating and weight loss. So that's what I meant. And I also wanted to have a really special shout out to someone who's been very dear to me throughout this process. A lot of you, all of you have been. But somebody that has really taught me a lot about being patient and weight loss, and that if you don't know, let's see, Second Act VSG Susan, who's in the West Coast, look her up, especially if you are not a very fast loser. I said, what is it, that I've lost 19 pounds in 6 weeks, and some people lose that in their pre-surgery diet. So you can see why that's part of aging, that it takes a little longer. Susan is much younger than I am. I could be her older sister, but I don't want to put that on her, that she's my age. But today she also reached 179, and I know that being in the 70s is really important for her. It has become important for me because it is for her. And I just want to have a huge shout out because aging and losing weight slowly is a specialty, is a sub-specialty, I think, of our community. And there's a lovely, thing. And she's not the only one. I just wanted to I was trying to explain all about the community to someone this week, and it was really hard to do because it sounds sometimes a little crazy, like, who are these people and how do you know them, and, how do you know that they're not crazy, and a lot of us, who knows and who cares. But I want to especially just mention today, and I will make sure to do this more often because I know how I feel when somebody takes the time. So, to Kim and Anna and Zanita and Cindy and Elizabeth and Aaron and Jela and Michelle and Lisa and Sabrina and Nirvana and Caitlin, and my surgery sisters, who are Brianna, Andy, Erica, Rachel, Dee. Thank you. I couldn't have done this without you. So this is to all. Bye-bye. See you next week.